What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first tutorial of hopefully many to come. I've gotten a lot of requests from just people I know asking me how to program and where they can get started with it, and that's kind of why I'm making these tutorials, is to teach them. But I also figured I'd upload them for anybody who wants it. So yeah, we're learning for the first language. I think it's a good idea to learn Java. There's a lot of controversy just because Java has a lot of security flaws and whatever, but that's all beyond what we're going to be learning anytime in the near future. Java is very, very widely used, and a lot of the concepts that you learn in Java can be applied to more advanced level languages like C, C Sharp, C++, etc., etc. So I think it's definitely a good starter language to learn. You guys are going to need basically just NetBeans IDE. IDE stands for Interactive Development Environment or something like that. I don't know. Not really important. Basically, it's where we're going to type our code and run it. I will leave a link in the description for you, but this is the web page that you're going to want to go to. It installs the JDK and also NetBeans, just kind of an all-in-one package. So basically, like I said, I'll leave the link below. Just click accept the license and then just find your operating system here and click whichever one you want, and just run through the installer. If you guys have any trouble, there are hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube explaining it. But yeah, I'll leave the link down there. You guys should be able to figure it out. It just, your typical installing a program, next, yes, accept, finish, whatever. So once you get it installed, this is when you first open it, this is what you should see. Something very, very similar to this if you're watching this in the future. And I think that one of the best ways to learn programming is just kind of to jump right in. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started and just write our first program. So let's go File, New Project. You could also click right here for the new project. Don't worry about any of these other things down here. We're just going to stick with Java right now, and we're going to go ahead and stick with class library right now. So just like Java class library, and go ahead and click next. Just name this, I guess, first program, and wherever you want to have this program be installed, I'll just leave mine on my desktop. That's fine with me, and go ahead and click finish. Okay, now as you can see over here in your project window, you have your first program, and you have something called source packages and libraries. A lot of this stuff is going to be a don't worry about it kind of thing until we get later, and then I'll be explaining what all of this is. But for now, just trust me, get the basics. Let's learn to walk before you can run. This is how it is. I'll explain it later in a different video once we actually get to this topic. But for now, just go ahead and expand these source packages. Click on Default Package, right-click, go to New, and Java Class. Now, the class name can be anything that you want. I'm going to name mine Main because this is where our main program is going to be written. I know another popular one is a lot of people like to name theirs Client. It's just more of a preference thing. It ultimately doesn't matter what you name it. You could name it anything. You can name it Banana if you wanted it. It means nothing. And then just go ahead and click finish. And this will go ahead and generate, it'll generate some code for you. It'll automatically put in who the author is, and again, all this stuff can be changed. And so you'll notice a few things. This that I have in pink, you guys probably have it in gray, I would assume. And the reason for that is because these are comments. They're not actually generated when you run the program. They're not actually compiled and executed. They're just for the programmers to be able to read. That's really it. There's nothing else for this isn't computer code. It's just to be read by other programmers to better make sense of what they're doing. I've changed my comments to this magenta color because I find it easier to read than the gray on the white. If you guys want to change yours as well, you can click on, I believe it's, let's see here, I believe it's Tools, and then click on Options, and then under fonts and colors, look for comment right here, and then I just changed the foreground to magenta. You could do anything you want. I just like magenta personally, but it doesn't really matter. And then just go ahead and click OK, and that should get you guys where I am right now. So this right here, actually let's just get rid of this, because like I said, this is an actual code. This is the only thing that's actual code. Now it says public class main. Now if you remember, when we were back up here and we said right click new Java class, and we named it main, right? So that kind of explains where it says class main. We named it main, and this is a class. So that's where you get this little title right here. Now as far as public goes, that's what's called an access modifier. We're going to get to that later. There's public, private, protected. We'll explain all that stuff later, but for now, just leave it as public. Now if you want to write some code, this is where you would do it, is right here. But what we need to do is the Java virtual machine, when you click on run to run a program, right, it's going to look for something called a main method. Now a main method is different than a main class. Okay, like I said, this could have been named anything. This is not, doesn't have any ties to the word main at all. This could have been named banana. Okay, this has no relation at all to a main method. A main method is what gets run, and it's the only thing that gets run. Everything else gets called within your main method, and that'll make sense as we go along. Just kind of bear with me for now, but as we go, it'll make sense, I promise. So how do we write a main method? Go ahead and type, well, as you can see, it'll actually autocomplete, and I should probably show you guys how to get this, because I believe by default it's not, it won't automatically show up. If you go to Tools, Options, Editor, Code Completion, Java, just check all of these right here, and then go ahead and click OK. That'll make your life 100 million times easier, I promise. Go ahead and do it. You'll thank me later. So go ahead and type public, and it should automatically come up. If this is highlighted right here, you can use your arrow keys to switch. Make sure the top one's highlighted, click the tab key, and that will go ahead and generate this for you. I'm not sure why that's like that. That should be there. So this is your main method. Now if for whatever reason it didn't automatically pop up, go ahead and type it here. Java is case sensitive, so make sure it is typed exactly how it is. This is different than this. Okay, so make sure that it's typed exactly how it is here. Public static void main, string, brackets, args, and then some curly braces here. Now there are a few things that we can learn from this. This is what's called a method, and you'll notice that these curly braces, when I click next to one, get highlighted. And if I click next to these curly braces, it gets highlighted here. Think of these as almost like boxes. Okay, so this big box right here contains everything between them, so it contains all this, right? And then this littler box, which is within this big box, contains everything that we're going to write in here. Okay. So yeah, it just kind of, it's called a code block, and it's literally just what it sounds. It's a block of code. So how do we actually get this to do something? Well, we're going to write the infamous, well, not really infamous, more famous, Hello World program. So go ahead and type system, and you can see it's already auto-completing here. System.out.println, which is short for print line. Again, just like this, capital S, system.out.println, some parentheses right here, and some quotation marks on the inside, and a semicolon on the end. And within the quotation marks right here, type whatever you want. I'm going to type hello world. It really doesn't matter. You can type just about anything in here. Don't type another quotation mark. Well, actually, for now, just go ahead and type hello world. There are some characters you can't use. You can use them, but you have to use what's called an escape character or an escape sequence, and we'll cover those in a different video. So for now, just go ahead and type hello world, or maybe your name or whatever. Keep it simple. Yeah. So, what does this line do? Well, this, when you have anything that's between quotation marks, it's called a string literal. And what it means is this is not code. The computer doesn't know what this is. It just knows I'm telling it, print this out. You don't need to know what it means, just print it out. So this could be in any language you want. It could be anything, and the computer doesn't know and it doesn't care. It just knows it's between quotes. I'm telling it to print it out. That's it. Done. Leave it. Doesn't matter. The parentheses is what contains a parameter list. Hello world is the parameter, because this this can get kind of confusing. It's trying to explain it, but basically, like when you think about system.out.println, and then you're passing it in hello world, what's going to happen is it's going to access system, which is a class. It like system.out.println. Remember when I was talking about boxes within boxes, like how this class contains this method? Well, it's kind of a similar thing here. It's within the box system, and then you go to the box called out, and then you go to the box println, and you put hello world inside that box, and then it's going to spit something else out. And this will become a lot more clear once we start writing our own methods, which will be in a little bit. But basically, just know that if you don't understand it, it's completely fine. It'll make a lot more sense later. But just know that this is how you print out text to the output, to the window, which will be down here when we run it. Also, every single statement needs to end in a semicolon, and it's just like putting a period at the end of a sentence when you're writing a paper for school or whatever. It's the same thing. You'll notice there are no parentheses here or at the end of these braces, and that's because it's not a statement. Remember when I said this is a code block? And that's exactly what it is. It's a block of code. It contains code. It contains statements. Public class main itself is not a statement. It's more of a box that contains statements. And same with this public static void main. It's not a statement, it's a method, and that method contains statements. This is an actual statement. You're saying print out hello world, done. That's it. And you could write as many of these as you want. You could say, sorry, don't worry about system.error right now. Just go ahead and stick with out. You could write hello world, I am tired, right? And that's fine. And you see this is one statement, this is another statement. If we remove this, it's going to get angry at us because it's saying, this is a statement and this is another statement and you didn't end it. So it's kind of like these are two separate sentences. And if we go ahead and run this, and to run it, you're just going to click this little green play button up here, and just go ahead and click it. Oh, if it comes up with this, it's actually good that it comes up. Sometimes it'll just run. If it comes up with this, that's okay. Right click anywhere on this screen, doesn't matter where, and go down to run file, and that should get rid of it. And as you can see down here, it says run, it says hello world, I am tired, and then it says build successful, and it gives us the total amount of time that it took to run this program. So yeah, that should be your guys' first program. I know that it's A, really, really basic, that's okay, and B, I know that a lot of things are just kind of like, trust me, you'll learn later, and I know that that's kind of a difficult thing to do, or at least it is for me personally, but I promise it will make sense later. It just kind of, there's a lot of puzzle pieces that kind of need to fall into place, and they can definitely be difficult to kind of sort at first, but as you go along, you will definitely learn. You'll learn why things are the way they are. For this first video, honestly, just take it for what it is. Just know that this is kind of the general structure. Everything will be explained in more detail and made more sense later. But we need to get this basic part up, because when we write more programs in order to teach you guys stuff, like I said, it's the main method that gets run or ran, whatever. And so you need to know even if you don't understand why, you just need to know that you need to have it. It'll make more sense later. We'll explain it. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them, and I'll see you guys in the next video.